Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at DSP talking about his bug problem. Honestly, the whole situation's really gross and just astonishing. Shout out to Snort Hogan for the re-upload. As always, the link will be in the description. And also shout out to Raw Phil because I can recognize that this is his stream. So shout out Raw Phil. But let's just get into it now.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort,
Hogan. Drip.
snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go.
So here's the deal. We've been in such a crazy heat wave here in Washington. This summer, in Washington State, USA, we have had more hot days than any summer before on recorded history.
Opening today with the weather segment. Nice. Love my game podcasts having weather segments.
We have more days above 90 degrees Fahrenheit than we've ever had. Now, it's not the hottest we've ever had. 2 years ago, we had an insane heat wave. One day was 111 degrees Fahrenheit. The pavement outside was starting to melt. It was so hot. It's not meant for that. This weather is not meant for that, you see? But
I'm not gonna actually DSP because it says when you look it up that asphalt melts at 120 and he's talking about it being 111, but I don't know what he means. Like, it's not meant for that. Like, what's not meant for that? The roads aren't meant to be out when it's 111 degrees. Are you gonna put them inside?
this year, despite not having temperatures that high, we've had overall more hot days. We had such a heat wave this week. I had my air conditioners on maximum blast with the door closed, and it was still 80 degrees in here in this one small room that I broadcast from. That's how hot it was. But finally yesterday,
Sometimes having the door closed when you run the AC isn't actually the best move because you don't get any air circulation. Like, yeah, you can have AC in a room, but if you're running multiple consoles or a laptop or you've got your PC running and all of these things going at the same time, or fuck, even in my situation, I've got a 3D printer over here. Like, if you don't have any air circulation, like shit leaving, and you can have the AC on max blast all you want DSP, but it's not going to cool down the room because it's got nowhere to go, and it's not going to cool the temperature down faster than it's heating up.
it cooled down, which was really nice for it to finally cool down, okay? But sadly, some negative things had happened as a result of this crazy heat wave, okay? So here's what happened. Basically, because of the heat, there was a lot more insect activity around here. Fruit flies, among other things. And, I have trash in my garage. We can only, listen to this, we only get trash removal every 2 weeks. And so it builds up. Your trash accumulates.
So he opens with saying that there's more insect activity because of the heat, but then immediately goes into that he has trash in his garage. I know that there's more insects that come out during the summer months and when it's warmer out, obviously. But I'm pretty sure that that has more to do with the trash in your garage, you filthy mongrel, than it does with actually increasing temperatures. He blames bi-weekly trash pickup for the reason that he has trash in his garage. But for two people living in a house with one cat, I don't understand how they create so much garbage that it would have to go out weekly. I live in a house with my girlfriend and we have 4 cats, which is a whole lot more litter to throw out than DSP has, and I only take my trash out every other week. They do come weekly, but there's no reason for me to take my can out weekly if I only have half a can. I just take it out bi-weekly. So I have no idea how he not only fills the can, but also has it piling up outside of the can. Those two individuals together must be the two most wasteful people on the planet. Which is just ironic, being that they live in Washington State, a very green state.
And because of the trash in the garage, we started getting a bunch of fruit flies in the garage. I was like, oh, this is nasty. Now I have bug spray. And I was going out there spraying, but still, it was so hot and everything. These fruit flies were looking for somewhere to go and multiply. And they were doing it in our garage. Like, this is disgusting.
I can't imagine what that house looks like. He's got fruit flies in the garage. Jasper is frequently pissing and shitting places because he keeps getting urinary tract infections. They don't clean the litter box enough. Last year, he talked about ants. I'm sure they're back. If there's fruit flies, there's probably ants as well. I've heard that there's mold in the closet that he sits next to. I don't know that to be true. I'd never heard that personally, but that's what they said on the That Being Said podcast, and I don't think they would lie to me. It just sounds like an absolute pigsty, and I can't believe that anyone would actually live like this.
So yesterday, I basically had to go to the dump, all right, to get rid of these bags of trash that normally we would have accumulated and thrown out normally every 2 weeks, but there was just too much, too many bugs. I gotta get this out of here before these bugs start trying to come in the house and everything. So
I also find it really strange that this is a frequent problem that they have, and he doesn't just go to the dump often. If you have trash building up in your garage every single week, you should just make it a plan on your day off or whatever the fuck to just go to the dump and get rid of this extra trash, instead of just letting it pile up and fester and smell in your garage. That's just absolutely disgusting. What he really should do is just create less trash. He should work on being less wasteful. Because again, there's no way that 2 people and 1 cat should be creating that much trash.
it's funny because I was getting the bags ready to take to the dump, and guess what I noticed? Ants.
Yo, shout out the ants. They're my favorite side characters in the DSP story.
Ants everywhere on the ground as well. So we had fruit flies and ants coming in because of the heat, trying to get to the trash in the garage. And I'm like, oh, this is nasty. Now we have both, right? We have air and ground attack. What's next? What can we have water bugs too? Then we got land, sea, and air attacks all coming into our house, right? Good news is it was isolated to the garage.
He's making a joke out of the situation, but the fact that you're being bombarded with bugs in your own home is a failure on your part to every extent. There's nothing that anyone else could do to keep the bugs out but you, and you failed every aspect of that.
Okay, it was just in the garage, that was it, and it was isolated to the area of the trash cans. It wasn't like, oh my god, the whole garage is infested or anything like that. It was just these bugs were, coming into the garage, and it was very annoying. So
there's no way that you know the extent to the infestation in your garage. Not like he would tell us if there was a real infestation in his garage. He would come on stream and downplay it. He would downplay it until he needs something new to beg for. He'd get on stream and tell everyone that he needs extra tips because he has to pay for an exterminator because his garage is infested with bugs and it's so gross. And just when he was getting some positive momentum and things were looking up, he has to shell out big money for an exterminator to come and fix something that is entirely his fault.
after having sprayed with bug spray for about 2-3 days,
he would rather go out there and spray bug spray for 2 or 3 days than go to the dump and actually take care of the issue. Okay.
realizing there's no way this is going to stop, I got to freaking get this trash out of here. Yesterday, I geared up, these giant-ass rubber gloves, and I basically took giant garbage bags. I piled our trash into these garbage bags, and
Hold on, wait a minute. The trash wasn't even in a fucking bag? You come on stream and bitch about bugs being in your garage like it's the worst thing ever, and you don't even put your trash in a bag? You're just literally piling it up outside the can? No wonder you have fucking bugs, you goddamn idiot! This is a 41-year-old man who actually doesn't understand how to take care of garbage. A man who claims to run a household.
tied them up full of bugs, disgusting, tossed them into the car, and went to the garbage dump. And I got rid of them. And of course, it was gross. In the car, all of a sudden, some of these bugs are coming up. Like, this is nasty, right? This is freaking ridiculous.
So not only did he let the garbage sit and fester and attract bugs in his garage, but then he transported it in his only car and let the bugs just get all over the car as well. Awesome. Gross.
So, anyway, I got rid of it. It wasn't a huge deal, but then when I came home, now the bugs are confused. The ones that are still alive, that is, because of course a bunch of them were in the trash and some of them got killed by the bug spray. But now I got ants still coming in, because you know how ants work. Don't they communicate via, isn't it like a pheromone or something? Like they smell and they communicate that way, and that way they know where to go?
DSP's a fucking entomologist, all of a sudden knows how ant pheromones work and that they were confused. He could tell just by the way they were moving, Simple ant facts that an entomologist would know, obviously.
So they think there's food. Now there's no food anymore. It's all gone. The garage has nothing in it for them to eat. So they're coming in and they don't know what to do anymore. So they're just walking in and they're walking like a circle and they're confused. So like, what am I going to do? So I had to kill them all again, which sucks. I don't like having to kill a bunch of innocent ants. They didn't do anything.
He's so empathetic to ants, but then didn't take the proper precautions to make sure that this situation didn't arise in the first place. What a fucking bitch, baby.
But they're coming into my garage. And what I ended up doing was making a perimeter of kind of bug spray at the bottom of the garage. And I already have ant traps from previous invasions at the other end of the house at our back door. And I put down the ant traps at the end of the garage.
Feels bad about killing innocent ants, but has ant traps at the other side of the fucking house. Make that make sense. Also, if you were having an ant problem on the other side of the house, why the fuck would you think it was a good idea to just let this stinky, smelly garbage pile up in your garage like it wasn't going to be an issue? Are you fucking stupid?
And basically let it sit for the rest of the day. And one more time I went out there and I saw some and I got rid of them. And then by the end of the day, I went out there again, finally gone. So no fruit flies were gone. And the ants were gone. I just checked this morning, and once again, no fruit flies, no ants. The other good thing is the heat dissipated. The heat wave ended. So because of that, I think the bugs are going to go back to their normal behavior rather than freaking out because it's so hot and desperate for food or whatever. You know, they're actually going to kind of relax a bit because that's the problem when the heat goes up. All these things change and things become intrusive, right? You know, wild animals going crazy, you got bugs going crazy. They all want to get inside to eat your shit. Like, what is this? They usually wouldn't do that.
No, I'm pretty sure if you live in an absolute pigsty with crumbs all over the floor, pretty much year-round, ants and other insects will take advantage of the free food and come into your house and be an issue. Fairly certain that that's just how that works.
But anyway, yeah, it seems okay now. Like I said, I checked last night and this morning. No ants, no fruit flies. It looks like they've probably gotten the message there's no food in here anymore, and I think we're all right. But it was kind of a gross day of me having to deal with all these bugs and everything.
So it's not in this video, but I did see it live on stream, so you'll just have to take my word for it. I'm not going to go find it. But following this story, DSP talked about how he throws nuts out for the squirrels, and it attracts a lot of creatures. I'm almost 100% that that also contributes to the amount of insects that hang around his house and why he would have ant problems regardless of the weather. Because you're just leaving excess amounts of food at your house, attracting bugs. But that's going to do it for today's video. I appreciate y'all for coming by and watching. Again, shout out to Snort Hogan and Raw Phil. The link to this original video will be in the description. So make sure you check out other detractor channels and dive deeper into that Snortex.